While much of the world's attention was focused on Japan's Toyota and America's Tesla, a Chinese automaker quietly made a move that surprised the electric vehicle industry. The company, Jely, introduced its new small electric car in Australia, the Jely EX2 compact EV, and it quickly caught the attention of the entire EV market. At first glance, the car looks quite simple. It's a small, compact electric vehicle designed mainly for city driving. Nothing about its appearance immediately suggests that it would create such a big conversation in the automotive world. However, everything changed when people discovered its price. In China, the starting price of the EX2 is around $15,000. Even today, producing a fully electric car at such a low price remains a major challenge for most automakers. That is exactly why this small vehicle suddenly became a hot topic in the Australian EV market. But the real story goes beyond the price tag. What truly interests experts is the technology behind the car that allows it to remain both affordable and practical. How did this compact EV manage to generate so much excitement in Australia's EV market? What kind of battery technology has China used that makes it possible to keep the cost so low? As you continue exploring this story, it becomes clear that this is not simply about the launch of another electric car. It could represent the beginning of a completely new strategy in the global EV market. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more content like this. If we look at the automotive industry over the past few years, one thing becomes very clear. The world's biggest technology race is now focused on electric vehicles. For decades, petrol and diesel engines dominated the automobile industry. Today, however, the focus is gradually shifting toward batteries, software, and electric powertrains. In this new race, a few names are constantly mentioned. Tesla from the United States transformed electric cars into a major global business. Toyota from Japan spent years leading the world in hybrid technology and is now rapidly moving toward full electric vehicles. Then there is BYD from China, which has expanded its EV production so quickly that in many markets, its sales are now approaching Tesla's numbers. News channels, automotive analysts, and investors frequently discuss these companies. Conversations usually revolve around who is introducing the latest battery innovation, which vehicles offer the longest driving range, and which company is building new factories the fastest. From the outside, it almost seems as if the entire EV competition revolves around just these few brands. But the technology world often works in unexpected ways. Sometimes the biggest changes come from places people are not watching closely. While global attention remained focused on Tesla, Toyota, and BYD, another Chinese company quietly made a strategic move. Jely introduced its compact electric car, the EX2, without much noise, yet it quickly started generating buzz across the EV market. At first look, the vehicle doesn't appear to be a luxury or high-performance EV. It is small, simple, and designed mainly for everyday urban transportation. But the real story is not about the car's size, it is about the strategy behind it. In many cases, the biggest transformations in the automotive industry do not come from extremely expensive or highly advanced vehicles. Instead, they come from cars that ordinary people can actually afford. History shows that many technological revolutions followed a similar pattern. When mobile phones first appeared, they were expensive devices used only by wealthy individuals. Over time, affordable smartphones entered the market and completely changed how people live and communicate. The electric vehicle industry may now be approaching a similar turning point. A major question being discussed today is whether EVs can truly become accessible to the mass market. This is exactly why Jely's small electric car is attracting so much attention. When a company launches a practical electric vehicle at a very affordable price, it does more than just introduce another model. It attempts to reshape the rules of the entire market. Many analysts now believe that the future of the EV industry will not be decided only by the most advanced or expensive cars. Instead, the real winner could be the company that succeeds in making electric vehicles available to the largest number of people. When discussing Jely, many people still do not place it in the same category as Tesla or Toyota. However, the reality is quite different. Over the past 2 decades, Jely has become one of the fastest-growing automotive companies in the world. The company began as a relatively small automaker in China, but steadily expanded its presence across global markets. Today, Jely not only produces its own vehicles, but also owns or invests in several well-known international automotive brands. For example, the famous Swedish automaker Volvo Cars is now owned by Jely. Volvo has long been recognized for its strong focus on safety and engineering excellence. By acquiring this brand, Jely showed that its ambitions go far beyond being a domestic Chinese company. Instead, it aims to become a major global player in the automotive industry. In addition to Volvo, Jely has also invested in the British sports car manufacturer Lotus Cars. Lotus is famous for producing high-performance sports cars. When a single company owns both a safety-focused brand like Volvo and a performance brand like Lotus, it shows that the company is involved in multiple areas of automotive technology. Because of this, Jely today is no longer just a car manufacturer. It has evolved into a complete automotive technology group. In recent years, Jely has also moved quickly into the electric vehicle sector. The company has invested heavily in new battery technologies, advanced software platforms, and modular vehicle architectures designed specifically for future EVs. With the launch of its new compact electric car, many industry observers believe this is more than just another product release. It could be the beginning of a much larger strategy. If a company manages to produce electric cars that are affordable, reliable, and practical, it has the potential to shift the entire balance of the EV market. The price of around $15,000 has already created a shock in the industry. At first glance, the EX2 compact EV does not look like a large or luxury vehicle. It is small, simple, and compact, clearly built with urban driving in mind. Today, traffic congestion in major cities continues to grow. Parking spaces are becoming harder to find, and many people are looking for vehicles that can easily handle everyday activities, going to work, running errands, or commuting around town. This Jely car appears to be designed exactly for those daily needs. Its compact body makes it easier to drive through narrow city streets, and its smaller size also makes parking much more convenient. In terms of design, the car follows the clean and modern style commonly seen in electric vehicles. The front design is quite minimal. Since electric cars do not require large air intakes like traditional gasoline vehicles, the front grille is almost non-existent. The overall design feels modern, simple, and practical. This vehicle is not meant to grab attention like an exotic sports car. Instead, it is designed to function as a practical city EV, something that can comfortably serve the everyday needs of ordinary drivers. Looking back at automotive history, small cars have often played an important role in major industry changes. At one time, the Volkswagen Beetle helped bring car ownership to millions of people. Later, small hatchbacks made urban driving easier and more accessible. In a similar way, the biggest shift in the electric vehicle market may not come from large, expensive vehicles. It may come from smaller, affordable cars that the average person can realistically buy. That is why Jely's new electric vehicle is attracting so much attention from industry experts. Many see it not simply as a car, but as part of a larger plan to make electric vehicles accessible to a much wider audience. But the most surprising part of this story is not the car's size or its design, it is the price. Reports suggest that the starting price of this EV in China is around $15,000. Considering the current state of the electric vehicle market, this number is quite surprising. Even today, in many countries, electric cars are still significantly more expensive than traditional petrol vehicles. Tesla's vehicles in the United States are technologically advanced, but their prices are still beyond the reach of many buyers. Toyota in Japan is actively working on electric and hybrid technologies, yet producing truly affordable EVs remains a major challenge. China's BYD has launched some relatively affordable models, but many electric cars still fall within the $20,000 to $30,000 price range. In this context, a fully electric car priced around $15,000 naturally raises many questions. People immediately begin asking how such a low price is possible. Has the company developed a new battery technology, or has China's massive manufacturing and supply chain network become so efficient that production costs are dropping significantly? The reason this question is so important is that the battery is the most expensive component of any electric vehicle. If a company finds a way to significantly reduce battery costs, it can dramatically lower the price of the entire car. This is exactly why Jely's compact EV is generating so much discussion throughout the automotive industry. Many experts believe that in the future, the real competition in the EV market will not be about speed or driving range. Instead, the most important factor may become price. The company that can successfully produce the most affordable and reliable electric vehicle could eventually capture the largest share of the global market. And if Jely truly succeeds in delivering a practical electric car at such a low price, it will not simply represent the launch of a new model. It could be a sign that electric vehicles are finally beginning to become accessible to the masses. Now let's talk about the most important part of any electric vehicle: the battery. In an EV, the battery is not only the most expensive component, but also the most critical one. If battery technology becomes more affordable, reliable, and long-lasting, the overall cost of the entire vehicle can drop significantly. That is why the real competition in the electric vehicle industry is not only about building cars, it is about developing better and more efficient battery technology. Many reports suggest that the EX2 compact EV may use LFP batteries, which stands for lithium iron phosphate. This type of battery has been gaining popularity in the EV industry over the past few years, and many manufacturers are now adopting it rapidly. One of the biggest advantages of LFP batteries is that they do not rely heavily on expensive metals like nickel or cobalt. Because of this, they are cheaper to produce compared to some other battery types. And when the battery becomes less expensive, the cost of the entire electric vehicle also goes down. Another major benefit of LFP batteries is safety. They are generally considered more stable and less likely to experience thermal runaway, a situation where a battery overheats and potentially becomes dangerous. This improved safety is one of the reasons why many Chinese companies are investing heavily in this technology. However, battery chemistry alone does not explain the lower cost. Chinese manufacturers also benefit from another major advantage: a highly efficient and well-developed supply chain. Over the past decade, China has become the world's largest hub for battery manufacturing. Many of the key components needed for electric vehicles, such as battery cells, electric motors, and control systems, are produced within a tightly connected industrial ecosystem. Because these parts are manufactured locally within the same network, companies do not need to import expensive components from multiple countries. When most of the supply chain exists in one place, production becomes faster and significantly cheaper. This is one of the main reasons companies like Jely are able to produce electric vehicles at more competitive prices. Many experts believe that the affordability of this car is not the result of just one technology, but rather the outcome of a complete manufacturing strategy. But this leads to another important question. If the car is so affordable, will its performance still be good? This is something every potential buyer naturally wonders. People are not simply looking for a cheap vehicle. They want something that is dependable for everyday use. For electric vehicles, two important factors are driving range and motor performance. Compact city EVs like this are usually designed to provide enough range for daily urban travel. Many small electric cars aim to offer a range between 250 and 350 kilometers on a full charge. For most city drivers, this is more than enough. In reality, many people drive only around 30 to 50 kilometers per day. This means a car with that level of range could easily last several days on a single charge, making it very convenient for daily life. When it comes to the motor, compact electric cars typically use lightweight but efficient electric motors. The goal is not to create a high-speed performance vehicle like a race car, but rather to deliver smooth, comfortable driving in city traffic. One advantage of electric motors is their instant torque. This means the car can accelerate smoothly and immediately when the driver presses the pedal. Because of this, even small electric cars can feel surprisingly quick and responsive on urban roads. Another interesting question is why Australia was chosen as the launch market. Whenever a company introduces a new vehicle or technology, the decision of where to launch it first is extremely important. Choosing the right market can sometimes be just as important as designing the car itself. That is why when Jely decided to introduce its compact electric vehicle, the EX2, it selected Australia as the first destination. At first, this decision might seem unusual. When people think about electric vehicles, they usually imagine markets like China, the United States, or Europe. However, over the past few years, Australia has gradually become an interesting and growing market for EV manufacturers. One unique characteristic of Australia is that, although its car market is not among the largest in the world, it is known for being open to new technologies. Consumers there often adopt innovations relatively quickly. Electric vehicle sales in Australia have increased rapidly in recent years. In the past, EVs were quite rare on Australian roads, but now more people are starting to consider electric cars instead of traditional petrol vehicles. In addition, several state governments have introduced incentives to encourage EV adoption. These include benefits such as tax reductions and investments in expanding charging infrastructure. Because of these developments, many international companies now see Australia as a promising market for electric vehicles. Another interesting factor is that the Australian market has its own unique characteristics. In urban areas, there is a strong demand for smaller and more practical vehicles. At the same time, drivers want cars that are reliable and easy to use for everyday life. For companies launching a compact and affordable EV, Australia can therefore act as an important testing ground. If the vehicle performs well there, manufacturers may believe it has the potential to succeed in many other markets around the world. This is one of the reasons many automobile companies see Australia as a valuable test market, a place where new vehicles and technologies can be introduced and evaluated by real customers. Another factor is that Australia's car market has traditionally relied heavily on imports. Only a small number of vehicles are manufactured locally, and most cars sold in the country are brought in from overseas. Because of this, it can be easier for new brands to enter the market. Companies launching vehicles there do not have to immediately compete with a large domestic manufacturing industry. The market is already familiar with international brands. For this reason, several Chinese automakers have recently begun expanding their presence in Australia. For Jely, this approach could also be a smart strategy. If an affordable and compact electric car like the EX2 performs well in Australia, it could be a strong indication that the company's plan is working. When so many components are developed and produced within the same ecosystem, manufacturing a car becomes something much bigger than simply assembling parts. It becomes part of a complete technology ecosystem. This is why many analysts now view China's EV industry not only as part of the automobile sector, but also as a major technology industry. Naturally, this raises an important question. If this strategy succeeds and affordable electric vehicles begin appearing around the world in large numbers, what impact will it have on other major automakers, especially those that have dominated the industry for decades? For instance, Tesla from the United States is widely considered one of the leaders in electric vehicle technology. The company has played a huge role in making EVs popular worldwide thanks to its long driving ranges, frequent software updates, and advanced features such as autopilot. However, if extremely low-cost electric cars start entering the market on a large scale, the nature of the competition could change dramatically. The focus may shift from purely technological innovation to affordability as well. On the other side, Japan's Toyota has long been known as a global leader in hybrid vehicle technology. The company helped make hybrid cars mainstream years ago, and millions of drivers around the world still rely on its vehicles today. But the electric vehicle landscape is evolving rapidly. If truly affordable electric cars become widely available, many customers might choose fully electric vehicles instead of gasoline or hybrid options. This shift could push traditional automakers to rethink their strategies. They may need to reduce production costs, improve battery technologies, and invest heavily in new manufacturing methods. History shows that major technological shifts in the automobile industry often happen when a new technology becomes affordable for the average person. When cars were first invented, they were extremely expensive and only available to a small group of wealthy buyers. But as manufacturing improved and prices fell, cars gradually became common around the world. Something similar may soon happen with electric vehicles. If affordable and reliable EVs begin appearing in large numbers, the balance of the entire auto industry could change. That is the question many experts are asking today. Will the strategy used by Chinese companies set the new rules for the global EV market? Or will established automakers respond quickly enough to stay ahead in this rapidly changing industry? And if you enjoy exploring fascinating stories about technology and the automotive world, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more interesting videos like this.